I turned 79 last month. My daughter asked me what I wanted, and I told her the truth. I didn't need anything. She laughed, said I always say that, and I do, because somewhere along the way I stopped needing much. But it wasn't always like that. Welcome back to my channel. If you're here right now, I need to tell you something. A friend of mine said nobody would listen to this. Said I wouldn't get past 100 subscribers talking about money at my age. That people want advice from someone successful, not someone who worked 47 years at jobs that didn't matter to anyone but me. But I think there's value in hearing from someone who lived it. Who made mistakes. Who figured some things out too late and some things just in time. So if you're willing to listen, please subscribe. Help me show that these kinds of stories still matter. That maybe the quiet lessons are the ones worth keeping. Now let me tell you what I actually learned. I got my first real job in 1970. I was 19, it was at a parts factory outside Louisville. Second shift, 4 to midnight. The pay was $2.85 an hour. I remember that number because I calculated it constantly. Every hour I stood there, I'd think, another $2.85. Another $2.85. By the end of the week, I'd have $114 before taxes. I thought that was all the money in the world. My first paycheck, I bought my mother a blender, one of those heavy glass ones. Cost me $23 at Sears. She cried when I gave it to her. Not because she needed a blender. We already had one actually, but because I thought of her first. I didn't understand that then. I thought she was just happy to have something new. I kept that job for 3 years, saved most of what I made, lived at home, paid my parents a little for rent, even though they never asked. In 1973, I had almost $4,000 in the bank. I felt rich. I wasn't, but I felt like I was. That's the thing about money when you're young. The feeling of having it matters more than what you actually have. I got married in 1974. Linda worked at the phone company. Made a little more than I did. We rented a duplex on the east side for $140 a month. It had brown carpet and a kitchen so small we couldn't both stand in it at the same time. But it was ours. We bought furniture from yard sales. A couch for $15. A table for $10. Sheets and towels from her aunt who was moving. I remember we had $200 left after we paid the deposit and first month's rent. Linda said we should save it. I wanted to buy a TV. We compromised. Saved $150. Bought a small black and white set for $50. That TV lasted 11 years. Our son was born in 1976. Everything changed after that. Not all at once, but slowly. The way water changes the shape of a stone. Suddenly $114 a week wasn't enough. Diapers, formula, doctor visits, daycare. Linda went back to work after 3 months because we couldn't afford for her not to. I picked up overtime whenever I could. Worked Saturdays and Sundays past. I was tired all the time, but we were making it. Just barely. But we were. It was a night, I think it was 1978, when I sat at that little kitchen table and looked at our bills. Rent, utilities, car payment, daycare, groceries. The numbers didn't add up. We were $86 short. I remember the exact amount because I stared at it for an hour, trying to figure out where we could cut, what we could skip. Linda came in and saw me sitting there. She didn't say anything, just put her hand on my shoulder. We figured it out, borrowed from her parents, paid them back over the next 2 months. But that feeling of not having enough, of the numbers not working no matter how hard you tried, that stayed with me. I got promoted in 1981. Shift supervisor, $4.50 an hour. It felt like we'd finally made it. We moved to a bigger place. 2 bedrooms, our son could have his own room. We bought a better car, nothing fancy, a used Chevy, but it ran well. Linda and I went out to dinner once a month, nothing expensive, usually a local diner, but it was ours. For the first time since we got married, I stopped calculating every purchase. I didn't think about money every single minute, and that, I realize now, was what I'd been chasing the whole time. Not wealth, just the absence of constant worry. Our daughter was born in 1983. By then we knew what we were doing, or at least we thought we did, but 2 kids cost more than 1. That's just math. The promotions kept coming, slowly. I made supervisor in 85, department lead in 89. By 1990, I was making almost $30,000 a year. That sounds like nothing now, I know that. But it felt stable. We had insurance, a retirement account the company matched, a savings account we actually contributed to. We weren't rich, but we were okay. And okay felt like enough. My father died in 1994. He was 72. Heart attack. Sudden. When we went through his things, we found bank books. 3 of them he'd saved for 30 years. Never told anyone. There was almost $18,000. My mother didn't even know about 2 of the accounts. At the funeral, someone said he was frugal. Another person said careful. My uncle said cheap. I didn't say anything. But I thought about all the times he said no to things. Vacations, dinners out, a newer car. He died with $18,000 and a lifetime of saying no. I don't judge him for it. I understand why he did it. He grew up in the Depression. His father lost everything. Money meant survival to him.
Security, control.
But it also meant he never let himself enjoy what he had. That's when I started thinking differently. I turned 50 in 1999, halfway done, if I was lucky. I started asking myself what I was working for. Not philosophically, practically. What was the money for? Retirement? Sure. Security, helping the kids if they needed it. But also, and this took me years to admit, I was working because I didn't know how to stop. Because having a paycheck felt like proof that I mattered, that I was providing, doing what I was supposed to do. The money itself almost didn't matter anymore. It was what the money represented. I retired in 2017. I was 68. Later than I wanted, earlier than some. We had enough saved. Not a lot, but enough. Social Security. A pension that wasn't much. Some savings. We'd paid off the house in 2010. That helped. Kids were grown. On their own. We didn't need much. And that's when I realized something. All those years I spent worrying about money, chasing it, calculating it. I've been asking the wrong question. The question isn't, how much do you need? The question is, what do you actually want your life to look like? And then, what does that cost? For me now, it looks like this. A small house, paid for. A car that runs. Enough to buy groceries without checking the receipt. Enough to take Linda to dinner once a week. Enough to help the kids if something happens. Enough to not worry every single day. That's it. That costs less than I thought it would. I know your situation is different. I know rent costs more now, that wages haven't kept up, that you're dealing with debt I never had to think about. I'm not going to pretend it's the same. But I will tell you this, I wasted a lot of years thinking that more money would fix everything. That if I just made a little more, saved a little more, got one more promotion, then I'd feel secure. It didn't work that way. Security didn't come from the amount in the bank. It came from knowing what I needed and then working toward that. Not toward some imaginary number that would finally be enough. My son asked me last year if I had any regrets about money. I thought about it for a while. I told him I wish I'd worried less. I wish I'd said yes more often when Linda wanted to take a trip or go to a nicer restaurant. I wish I'd understood sooner that the point of having money is to use it for the life you want, not just to have it. But I don't regret the work. That's what got us here, to a place where we have enough, where we can breathe. I'm 79 now. I don't think about money the way I used to. I think about time more, about what I want to do with what's left. The money's just there, in the background, doing what it's supposed to do, which is letting me live without worrying about it. That's all I ever really wanted. Not to be rich, just to not be afraid. And somewhere along the way, without realizing it, I got there. The blender I bought my mother in 1970, she kept it until she died in 2-3 years. She used it maybe twice a year, but she kept it on the counter, always visible. After she passed, my sister asked if I wanted it. I said no. I told her to donate it, but I think about it sometimes, about being 19 and thinking $23 was a grand gesture. About how money meant something different then, how it means something different now, how it'll probably mean something different in another 10 years. If I'm here to see it, I don't have all the answers. I made mistakes, plenty of them. But I learned what mattered to me, and I learned that money's only useful if it helps you build the life you actually want. Not the life you think you're supposed to want, the one you actually do. That's the only lesson I'm sure of. Thanks for listening to me talk. If something here made sense to you, or if you're figuring this out yourself, I'd like to hear about it. Leave a comment, tell me where you're at. And if you think these kinds of conversations are worth having, please subscribe. Let's keep breathing life into stories that were never meant to stay silent. Take care of yourself.